So up to 50% of digital ad spend is actually wasted. So in this episode, Linda and I are going to talk about how you can 2x your Google ad results without spending more. How are you, Linda? Good to see you today for this Friday.
It is Friday. Good to see you, Mopes.
You guys get us at our worst. I know that's not a way to start a podcast. No, I'm playing. So it's long weeks. So it's really good to be here. But yeah, Linda, I guess we're talking about Google Ads today, right? And I think 5 key areas that we often recommend or where we like to start to essentially 2x results without increasing spend.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this stuff today, Mopes, because we've been doing a lot when it comes to landing pages. Like I know we're working on our own landing pages. We've been doing a lot when it comes to client Google Ad accounts. We've got a bunch of new clients that we're in the process of optimizing, old clients that we're just trying to reinvigorate. So we're sharing a lot of secrets today when it comes to what we've been working on. And I feel like a lot of the content is gold. I'm so excited to talk through it all.
I love how you said old clients. I just pictured like nursing home clients. Or really old.
No discrimination.
No, they've been with, yeah. No, of course not. Some of them are old, some of them are not. But yeah, obviously clients we've actually been working with a lot. But the point is actually the longer you have a client, the more optimizations you have to make. So there's a different type of challenge there. But yeah, no, let's get straight into it. So one of the things we often talk about, it's not always like sometimes it is a spending problem, but it's not always a spending problem. It's often a conversion problem. And if we're taking over an account or we're auditing it and it's been a while, we don't look at the spend right away per se. We look at these conversion elements. And you said landing pages, and that's essentially the first factor we want to talk about today, landing page optimization. So we've actually found that just by moving key content above the fold, you can increase your conversion rate by 20 to 30%. So before I share a couple of things, and I'm also in this episode, I'm going to be sharing my screen and giving you guys a bit of a sneak peek preview of our new website, which actually no one has seen. We're not just showing it off. It's actually got some landing page elements we want to talk about. But before I do, Linda, there's something that you've found time and time again, and it almost seems like so simple, but it's the idea of the form. You've tested that a number of times, right?
Yeah.
So talk to that in the context of sending someone to a homepage versus a product page versus a landing page with a form. But what have you found in your experience?
So we've tested a bunch of different things. Number one is if you're going to have a form on your page, like an on-page form, you might feel smart kind of shoving it all in together and having dual columns because it's tighter, less scroll and things like that. But it's actually psychologically more load on the person when they see a form that has dual columns. So something super simple is just have single one column, and just single rows.
Right.
With all your properties. So
I wasn't
first
talking
name,
about that, but
last
that's actually
name.
a really good point too.
Yeah.
I was talking about above the fold, but that's also, you're saying those things work hand in hand.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing. Yeah. So it's actually having the form above the fold. So specifically, sorry, for a landing page, that's what you want to do, as opposed to, making them scroll to be able to leave their details. A landing page is so bespoke, if it's set up correctly, you're targeting a certain keyword, you're delivering a certain ad copy that talks to that. And if they're going through that process and through that funnel, they're really interested in looking to buy. There's commercial intent. So don't make it hard for them to leave their details. Make it super easy by the time they get through the clicks and land on your landing page.
And I remember there was a scenario where, we came up with a really pretty landing page. It looked really nice and we tried to make it minimalistic. We still had a button above the fold and we still, I think it was like a pop-up, but you said, like, I've tried this before and it just didn't work. So time and time again, you've actually found just having the form visible. So we're not just talking about a button, actually having the form tends to work better for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting. So the other thing too, so we mentioned like key content, right? So the key content that we're talking about is testimonials, results, logos before the first scroll. Now, if your marketer has been around for more than 5 minutes and you've listened to any number of episodes on this podcast, we talk about social proof. So that part is common sense. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about just having social proof and just having results, reviews, things like that. We're talking about having that above the fold. So if you are watching the video version, great. You can see my beautiful haircut today. If you're listening, then you'll just have to follow along. But if you do want to see the video version, you could go to redpandas.com.au/EP180. Is it 180?
I hope so.
I think so.
That's what we're going with.
Hopefully. So yeah, whatever the episode of this podcast is /EP, that number. So I think it's 180. And you'll be able to see my screen. Now, this is a preview of our new homepage. Now, this actually, what I'm looking at, it's a Figma. Let me just get it up. Cool. So we're looking at a Figma. It's a design of our new homepage, what it's going to look at. Now, why I'm sharing this, yes, it's a homepage. There is a principle here that we will be adopting on all of our landing pages as well. So we're looking at a tagline. There's a photo of, it was a photo of me. I've changed it. There's a photo of Linda, right? You're looking very smug, right?
I don't mind that photo. That's okay.
It's a good photo. It's a good photo. And essentially what we've got is we've got the tagline. There's a bit of blurb, sure. Keep in mind, like, people are not going to read the blurb. So whatever you put in the blurb, add it as supplementary information. Don't expect them to read it. They're going to skim. And then there is a button, which I want to get back to, but there is literally a badge that says reviewed on HubSpot, 60 plus 5-star reviews, and it's got 5 stars there. And then it's got our platinum badge. Now, one thing you can't tell, because this is a Figma, on the live version above the fold, there will also be a row of logos. So you get to that page, there is a call to action there. There is a reviewed on HubSpot. There's 5 stars. There's a badge. And there is literally a row of 6 or 7 clients that we've worked on. It's common sense stuff, but we've just found time and time again, it's the simple stuff. Like, if all these things do 1 or 2%, it makes a big difference on your conversions. And just having that above the fold is super powerful, because remember, people will do the tab test. Then they may not even scroll down. So it's just a signal like, okay, cool, they're reputable. They've done this shit before, all good. And that works a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy how often it's overlooked, because we were doing a landing page optimization recently for a client, and we did the tab test. We had a look at the competitors, saw their landing pages, and one thing that they all had was, social proof and logos. Every single person, like every company, had the same logo on their landing page. So for me at that point, it was just noise. It didn't look any different. Our client who's come to us, it's a newer client. They didn't have any of that on their page. So they were even one step behind. But instead of, the natural instinct of like, everyone's got those logos, let's slap it on our landing page. No, like, how can we go one step further and differentiate ourselves? Because that's what your prospects are also doing, the tab test. They're looking at lots of different companies, and they're trying to see, who is going to make me regret my decision the least.
Yeah.
And so that's what that's going to help with.
So
your
do you
Google
remember
reviews,
what you did
that
in
sort of thing.
Real quickly?
Things like Google reviews.
Yeah,
Google reviews, instead of just having the standard, and it might be hard to visualize, but just, the image of the person and then just a quote under it. And the image could be a stock image, right? So instead of doing that, like, let's go one step further than a general quote with an image that could be a stock image. Let's have a video testimonial instead. Brownie points if your video testimonial is also about the service that's being offered as well.
Yeah.
But how can you stand out from the crowd and actually show real proof in an era right now where anyone can go grab an image, anyone can pull a quote online?
Yeah, do it AI, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One thing I'll also add to landing page optimization is actually have a landing page in your Google Ads, because we'll take over clients that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're sending people to service pages on their website where you can't control the journey because on your website you have the main navigation on top. So there are all these buttons and journeys that someone can go down. Whereas a bespoke landing page, you can really direct the buttons and the journey that they go down.
I think one thing people don't realize or appreciate, that the page you design for SEO is not the same page you design for paid media.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, a lot of clients have a problem with that, because the landing page, to a degree, has to be laced specifically with the keywords that you're targeting for that campaign.
Yeah.
Same with the ad copies. So it's not as pretty. It's not pretty by means of like the copy that you're using, because you really want to make sure
it's really
that
direct.
It's targeted specifically to what people are searching for your paid campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear, not clever. It's not just a general services page.
Yeah.
And it's easier than people think, because you can duplicate that and just change a few words.
That's
for
it.
Campaigns.
One thing I will say to end on the landing page stuff is one thing that will often fix without fail is the copy and how the copy is written. So most companies will lean towards features, whereas you want to talk in outcomes. So instead of just saying 24/7 support, you're saying, never wait on the phone, never wait on hold again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And that actually is a good segue to my next thing, and that's still part of landing pages actually, is that the call to action. So what did you say? Like never stay on hold again, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to get started or buy now or inquire now, like never wait on hold again, or see my savings, or the one that I was looking on for our website, 2x your conversion in 30 days. So that's very clear. It's very to the point. And that's what we mean by like, not that it's not pretty, it's still great, but you can see how that's going to be very different on a organic page. But some elements will be the same. And the final thing there was use Hotjar, use GA4, use scroll mapping, and let that run for a little while and do look at that data again. But we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
The next one we'll go over quickly. We've done this a few times, spoken about it, is creative testing. So the stats show that advertisers who test 11 times more creative see 2 times better performance. It's a little bit unfair, and life is unfair, right? You have to do 11 times more creative to get 2 times more results. But that 2 times more results can feed your campaign to spend so much more. But yeah, time and time again, we just see people not rotating enough creative, right?
I was reading a book recently, and that principle just applies to marketing in general, because I was reading the book, and it's relatively new, but everyone has their own stat. But they were saying that you need at least 8 touch points to be able to get a conversion. But to be able to get 8 touch points, that might actually mean that you need 50 different pieces of material that needs to go out to be able to actually get them to see those 8 touch points.
Yeah.
So you actually need a lot more than what that golden number is, Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so creative testing. So of course we're moving away from a search campaign. This could be like for a Performance Max campaign. So that is just utilizing Google's inventory. So that might be YouTube. It could be Gmail, Display, Maps, Discovery. But whatever platforms you're using there to be able to kind of deliver creatives, you want to make sure that you keep refreshing those so that those are always new and fresh, and people aren't getting fatigue from your creatives.
Right. That also hurts. I mean, we're talking about Google Ads, but also Google Ads, also Meta as well. Like it actually hurts your quality scores. The next one is so obvious in hindsight, and I can promise you half the people listening aren't doing this. And that is like looking at the keywords closer. So keyword and budget allocation. So we find that wasted ad spend from poor keywords can actually hit about 40%. Like 40% of your wasted ad spend can be from poor keywords. So the biggest piece of advice here would be to actually look at your search terms report. And we'll explain what that is. So the keywords you bid on, it's like really annoying because like every tech company, they changed the label. It used to be called queries. And what that is, so you pay for your keywords, right? You might pay for, I don't know, like laptop stands.
I think we still use query, to be honest.
We still use queries internally, but Google's changed it. It's called search terms now, like in the platform. But like say you sell laptop stands and you bid on that keyword laptop stand. That's what you've bid on. But that keyword will come up for other things too. It might come up for like a laptop propping device or something, right?
Yeah.
So if say that bad example, that's actually coming up. If you just look at your keyword report, it will say laptop stands generated X amount of, conversions. Cool, great, fine. But go a step deeper, look at the search terms report, see what they searched, because what they search for isn't always the keyword that you bid on. Because if laptop propping device is a great keyword, guess what? You should bid on that. You should put that in your ad copy and you should put that on your landing page. It's clearly going to convert a lot better than what you thought they were going to convert on in that bad example.
And then you've got the flip side of that, which is keywords that you're appearing for that you don't want to appear for.
Yeah.
Like for example, we've got a client who is in the IT industry, and we know that the word computer is typically associated with home users, and that's not their target market. Their target market is companies, B2B. So we'll make sure that we're filtering out any terminology that is reflective of the wrong target market for them. And that's why it's good to review that SQR report, search term report.
Yeah, cool. Exactly. Yeah, just get rid of it. All right, awesome. So moving along, this is a more of, I wouldn't say an advanced, maybe intermediate one, maybe advanced actually if you consider the percentage of people not doing it. And that's the RM integration. to get real attribution. So Linda said earlier, it takes on average 8 touch points to generate a conversion. If you don't have a CRM or if you're not integrating with a CRM, you're going to lose a lot of that attribution and you're not going to see it. So one of the things and this is actually out of probably Salesforce has it. I'm sure they do. Salesforce, but I know HubSpot definitely has it. And that is like syncing your CRM with Google Ads, right? You can sync it with Meta too. But what does that give you? Just from the basics, right? And if I just sort of say this and you don't know, your mind's going to go crazy in what you can do here. A normal Google Ads report will give you the leads, right? This is how many leads we got. But if you're in B2B or you're in B2C where it's, a consultative industry like education or whatever, unless you're in e-commerce, it's not going to tell you how much customers you've won. It will say you won 10 leads. But if you close 20% of them, which 20% can you attribute the keywords to? Normally, it's so difficult that people just don't do it. But if you sync it with a CRM like HubSpot, and this is out of the box native, it will tell you not only how many leads, it will be inside of HubSpot. It will pull the metadata or Google Ads data, not only how many leads you got, but this is really cool. How many quoted and qualified, so how many you sent a proposal to, and how many actually paid you or closed one. And we found the first time I saw this, it blew my mind. I wanted to call my mum and tell her how cool this was. Although she wouldn't understand. But
she'd be like, that's great, Moby.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, well done, Moby. Oh, you do your little coloring in marketing.
Are you happy? Yes? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
That's great, son. But what I found was for this particular client, you know who I'm talking about, Linda, if you sorted by leads, the campaigns that came, most leads to least leads, the campaigns at the top 2 or 3 were not the same as when you sorted by customers. And it blew my effing mind because they were spending so much money with another agency before we started. It blew my mind because PMAX was the highest one in this example. Mm-hmm. But when you sorted by customers, PMAX did not register.
Yeah.
So I remember we saved them $20,000 like that.
Yeah.
Just by turning that off. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, but there's other things you can obviously do if you sync with a CRM.
The only thing that I'll add to that is HubSpot haven't always done this. It's a relatively new feature, but you can actually now natively feed back that data back into Google Ads. So instead of going into HubSpot and having a look at that data, which you can, and it's really easy, you can take it one step further and actually send the sync back, which means that the deal stages, now then live in Google Ads, and you can build a report where you can see that information.
And I'm guessing you can optimize based on that too.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're not then needing to go out to HubSpot, which in theory, it's not a big deal, but the fact that Google Ads specialists can just jump into the Google Ads dashboard and have a look at the entire cycle from end to end is pretty cool.
That's cool. I want to kind of repeat that because that's such a good point that you made there, is what Linda's talking about is syncing back your customer data to Google.
Yeah.
So as some of you may know, is one of the bidding strategies you can optimize for conversions or optimize for leads, but imagine optimizing for customers. Game changer.
Yeah.
The last one, actually, we did plan on sharing different remarketing ads for the last one. I think we'll do that in another episode. For this one, we'll keep it quite short. But the 5th point today is audience targeting, right? Audience targeting that prioritizes intent. And I mentioned the remarketing word because remarketing does work. I would sort of say that if you've tried it before and it hasn't worked, I wouldn't cut out remarketing. I would revisit the strategy that you're using for remarketing, because the data that show remarketing is 70% more likely to convert than cold ads. So if you're really struggling with remarketing, you're losing a lot of money, you shouldn't be, because remarketing typically is a lower cost per click. There's got to be something wrong with your messaging or USPs.
Yeah, or maybe just in the delivery as well. I've seen clients where they'll have attempted remarketing in the past, but then they'll just remarket everybody that landed on the website. If you have enough users coming to your website because you need a certain data pool, I would try and niche down. So look for a particular service, have the remarketing ads tailored towards that particular service. Maybe it's also double down. How many times did they visit in the last X amount of time? Don't just do a big pool of everybody that's going to your website. Niche down, find a service, and then create ads specifically targeted towards that.
Yeah.
That way the messaging is more aligned with the page that they've actually visited on your website.
A common sense example of what we're talking about is a cart abandon form.
Yeah.
Or in the e-commerce space, right? It's a custom segment, it's a custom
audience.
Audience.
Or we've got an RTO, for example. They offer a number of courses We're doing a remarketing campaign right now that's specifically targeted towards the course early childhood education and care. And that means that the creatives are focused on early childhood. The messaging is focused towards that. And we're only targeting those people that have visited that page.
As opposed to, and if you're listening, you might laugh, but I'm sure we've all done crap like this in the past. It's just a brand ad where it's like, our RTO is great. Not those words, but, best selling, like best qualifications or job ready, blah, blah, blah. But you're talking about actually it's for childcare, by childcare. It's using that image. It's using that messaging.
That's it.
Absolutely. I think that's a lot for today. So what we will do, actually, if you go to redpandas.com.au/EP180, not only will you see the video, which is always nice, but we'll also share a 1-page cheat sheet where it's literally summarized all the 5 things we've mentioned with dot points and best practice stats, I guess, that you could just download for free. So definitely check that out. Linda, any passing final thoughts from yourself before we wrap it up and start our weekends?
I feel like we need to do a part 2 at some point because there's so much more that we can talk about.
100% we will. On that note, we'll join you again for another episode of Inbound Buzz.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Inbound Buzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another Inbound Buzz hit.